Mayor, the International AIDS Summit is coming in less than a year. I wanted you to tell us what the city is doing to prepare for that, and what role do you see envision with the gay community for the GLBT community?
Yeah, we just had a meeting today of the Local Arrangements Committee, which is we had a committee today of about 10 or 12 people. We'll continue to add folks to that. The public is invited to every meeting, and we probably had another, I don't know, 25 or 30 members of the public who were in the meeting today, and we had a period of public comment. There were a lot of good suggestions that were made today, in terms of reaching out to the international community, reaching out to the faith-based community. For those of you who don't know, which probably everybody does, but I'll say it anyway, the next year between the 22nd and 27th of July of 2012, the International AIDS Conference will be here in the city. That will attract somewhere north of 20,000 people. It will be a huge, huge conference. It's the first time that we've had the AIDS conference in the United States, I think, in about 2 decades. It's been a long time, let's put it that way. So it's a great opportunity for us to contribute to the scientific body of knowledge, if you will, around HIV and AIDS. But it's also a great opportunity for us to demonstrate what an open, contemporary, welcoming city we are to people. I think those who have ideas and suggestions, I would invite you to get them to Sharon Pratt, who is chairing, former Mayor Sharon Pratt, who is chairing the Local Arrangements Committee for us. We've got Pat Hawkins and a number of other people who are on that committee. Or get your input into one of 3 people, Muhammad Akhtar, who is our director at the Department of Health, Dr. Greg Pappas, who is the head of HOSTA, or we have a staff person who's been identified to work on the preparation for the conference, and that is Wanda Lockridge. You can reach all of them at the Department of Health. And we welcome all the input that we can possibly get. We are working towards doing a paper also. I won't go into the details at this stage, but a paper that will try to communicate what we have done in this city, in particular, to focus on this issue. There also will be a meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors later this month, the 17th through 20th and 21st of June. Baltimore, and I plan to make a presentation there about the conference to try to get other mayors on board with helping to support this effort.
Just following up on that, is there anything that you hope to accomplish around the issue of HIV/AIDS in the city in advance of that conference? Because it's going to certainly put Washington, D.C. in an international spotlight.
Well, it certainly will, and I hope that we have fully effectuated our treatment on demand effort by that time. Again, I think we are. I don't know if we're the only one, but I think we're one of only 2 or 3 at most in the nation. And to be able to demonstrate certainly we want to talk about prevention, obviously, but I want to be able to demonstrate that we have a treatment system that is comprehensive, accessible, and transparent in the city, which I hope people would take and replicate in their own countries or in other places of the U.S.
Peter.
Mr. Mayor, as a executive director of a nonprofit association, what the last discussion made me think of, we found it very hard in the last administration to get people out to welcome those that were coming to this city for their meetings, be it the convention center or hotels. All that you've done in terms of fighting for statehood and autonomy, I would think it could be very interesting to speak to all those groups who all extend invitations to the mayor to come and to give our message out there. And I was wondering if you intended to do more of that and also saw that as a way to follow up on the things that you are doing in relation to Congress and statehood and autonomy.
I do, Peter. As a matter of fact, one of my staff, he's in his room somewhere, he had a great idea, Jason, and that was to try to put something in our hotels, a short video. Now when you turn the television on in the hotels, what you typically get is the commercial message of the hotel. why couldn't we have a 3 or 4 minute video that would educate people? Almost by definition, the people in there are from somewhere else, and this would help to educate them. You know, it's amazing also, and for those of you who've heard me talk about this before, I didn't go there, nor did anybody else go there that day with the intent of being arrested. It was actually quite spontaneous. I went there to participate in the rally, and we walked, around the Hart building, and then there were speeches that were made, and a couple of us were standing on the curb, and the conversation started, why don't we go out in the street? And so we did. And one thing led to another. We were asked if we were going to move, and the answer was no. And we were handcuffed and arrested. And it was amazing the level of attention that this got around not only around the city, but around the region, around the nation. I was even interviewed by the BBC and Al Jazeera on this issue. And it was wonderful to be able to, I was even on the O'Reilly Factor. That was a tough interview. But, it gave us an opportunity to talk to a lot of different people. That's another reason why we have continued these discussions with the Congress. And I'm glad you asked that question earlier, because it gave me a chance to talk about that. Had these discussions, which have been quite constructive, around budget autonomy, which I think is easy to get your arms around, easy to understand, and ought to be easy to do, because what we're simply saying is that give us the authority to be able to spend our own money. Give us the authority to make the decisions about our own money. So it's another reason why I suggested earlier that we have a contingent in the Pride Parade, and then events thereafter that would not just be politician X or politician Y. Let's come together as one city to make a statement about the importance of autonomy. And what a great way to do that in the Pride Parade, which is coming up in about 9 or 10 days.
Yes, right here.
Good evening, Mayor Gray.
Good evening.
My name's Latifah Williams. I'm the president of the Gertrude Stein Democratic Club.
There you are. And you're honoring the DC 41 next week.
Wait, I'm sorry.
You're honoring the DC 41 next week.
We are, and that's one thing that
You're his successor, right?
Yes, I'm Jeff's successor. You said many wonderful things about my predecessor. First of all, I want to thank you for holding this town hall meeting, and thank you for working with the Stein Club both in the past and currently. And one of the things that I know that you're committed to, and I just wanted you to reaffirm, with that you would continue to work with us both on LGBT specific issues as well as broader issues. And in that regard, one of the broader issues, as you mentioned, the Stein Club is honoring the DC 41 next week for the actions on behalf of budget autonomy for the District of Columbia, as well as, just from the perspective of our community, it's so important to our community because there's marriage equality issues tied in there. There are issues about schools, religious schools that possibly discriminate, and whether or not local tax dollars should be used for those schools. And whichever side you fall on, the issue is that it's a local issue. So for us, it's very important. It's just important for our community to be actively engaged in these discussions. So I just want to thank you for involving us, and hope that you continue to do so in the future.
I don't think you have to worry about that at all. And by the way, not only do I work with the Stein Club, I'm a Stein Club member.
To express themselves. The feedback that we would like to share is, in terms of the HIV/AIDS Commission, having a mechanism for the youth perspective to come out within that commission, ideally having a youth representative seat.
Well, I'd offer a couple of opportunities. One, send us your thoughts on how we might do that. But also, one of the things we've instituted at every meeting is a public comment period. So for those who may not be members and don't want to have time to do that, they will have an opportunity to have their say. They'll have an opportunity to make a presentation, however they may wish to do that, at every one of the meetings of the commission. It's intended to be, is operated as thus far, a very transparent and open and welcoming process, not just for the commission members, but for those who may wish to influence the views of the commission itself. Thank you for wanting to be involved.
We have about 5 minutes left, so who has a Yeah, right there. Yep.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Gray. My name is Andrew Burnett. I'm with Smile, the Sexual Minority Youth League. I wanted to ask you what, as a council chair, you were very committed to addressing the issues of bullying and harassment against students in public schools, particularly against LGBT students. I wanted to know, as mayor, how do you intend to make sure those efforts continue to make sure that we create a school system that's truly safe for all of our students, particularly our LGBT students?
A couple of things in that regard. First of all, I really worked hard to turn the Deputy Mayor for Education role into a robust position. I don't know if you all have had a chance to meet Deputy Mayor Deshaun Wright, but he is he's very able, very enthusiastic, very energetic, very committed, and very involved. And I've asked him to take on issues like truancy, bullying, harassment, because those are public education-wide issues. They're not just confined to the DC public schools or the charter schools. And he has the overview, oversight, if you will, of all of those areas. So I've asked him to take those on. The other thing that I'm going to do, and I started it already, you may recall that I used to do monthly youth hearings when I was the chairman of the council. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to try to do it on a monthly basis if I can make this happen, and that is town hall meetings with young people. I did one on May 21st around the budget, and I have to tell you, those young people came with their A game. They had some excellent questions for those of you who saw it on Channel 16. Not making a statement about some of you all who are adults, but you better notch up your game, okay? But I think it's a great way for young people to be able to connect with me. They need to feel, whether it's me the person, but whoever's in this role, it needs to be somebody they feel they can relate to. And I think that would be a wonderful forum within which to discuss these kinds of issues. And not only to hear from them about the problem, but I think also to hear from them about what they see as some of the solutions as well.
Okay, I just want to say before the mayor's going to deliver some closing remarks, I want to just say a quick thank you to everybody for coming. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to the mayor for doing this. There is a video of this event that'll be on our website at WashingtonBlade.com. Go there and check it out. Right, Phil? Yes? Good? Yeah. Steve? Okay, good. Yes. So the video of this event will be there. Be sure to check that out. And be sure to download our apps. If you haven't done so already, there are cards out front that will allow you to do that. And now, Mr. Mann, your closing statement, please.
Well, I don't know if there's anything more to be said. We've covered a lot of territory tonight, and I would welcome the opportunity to continue to do this. I think it's a great way to interact with people. It's rare that I go to one of these kinds of events and not learn something myself, around a particular issue that is important to people, or frankly, a solution that I or some of those who work with me hadn't thought of. So, Kevin, I want to thank you for doing this, and I would welcome the opportunity to do it again if you wish to plan it. I want to thank all of you all for coming out. We've made a lot of progress in this city around, LGBT relationships and issues. But I think we have a long road to travel as well. I like to think of our city as a model, as a place where activism pays off and changes in the quality of life and the way of life and the laws of life. The final thing I want to say is to repeat something I said at the press briefing yesterday because he wasn't there, and that is, for those of you who don't know, Lou Shabaro, who has been a long-time reporter in the city, was inducted into the Hall of Fame, for journalism.
Lou's mine. Stand up here.
I've known Lou ever since I was at the Department of Human Services, and he thoroughly covered then, and he thoroughly covers now. So, Lou, I want to congratulate you publicly on your selection and your induction, and I think it is an absolutely fine selection. And congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for doing this, and thanks. Good night.